Hi, I'm Borkon. Glad to have you here. Welcome back. And today we are going to be going back to the witch hut perimeter. But first, there are a few things we need to prepare in our base. As many of you probably are quickly noticing, this is episode 62, which means that we are very close to episode 64 when I said that this counter should be pretty much done. Oh, this bit still haven't converted into grass. I keep forgetting to AFK here. I need to AFK there for the grass to grow. But we need to grassify more of the islands. I have done this bit quite recently. I haven't spammed bone meal here yet, as you can see. But that shouldn't take long. And this bit is the last large part that needs to be done. And after that... Oh, and after that is that island, but that island is almost irrelevant. It should be very easy. I'm just patrolling here now to see what we have missed, but most of the mycelium is gone. And I mean of the visible mycelium, which was my plan all along. At least on the to-do list. Well, not all along, but on the to-do lists, I'm saying only the visible mycelium should be gone. So it's not that much left. And yeah, this leg here, I definitely need to do something about that, but I'm completely lacking inspiration for this. But another thing I'm having a really hard time finishing are these tentacles here. I really like them, I really like the way they look, and I think they will turn out great, but every time I start working on them, I am just losing motivation, and... I don't know, maybe I just can't force it. I'm trying to maybe rush it and give myself a deadline to finish them. And I want them to look really good, and I'm afraid that if I rush them, they might not turn out well. I don't know. Like I'm the scaffolding will definitely go away, but maybe the only tentacle we will have in episode 64 is what's there right now. I don't know. Maybe my inspiration will come, but right now I'm not promising anything. It's a problem. I don't know what the problem is, but it's there. But no, today we're gonna be going back to the witch hut perimeter because we need to make a perimeter wall, at least start working on it, because I'm pretty sure I will not have enough materials to finish it today. And for this, we're of course going to be using this machine here, which I built a few episodes. I actually don't even remember how many, quite a few episodes ago. And this guy has already been AFKing here tonight because I have been making concrete. Unfortunately, this machine is not great. It has two bugs I discovered tonight. One is simple, the other one is not simple. Let's start with the other one. The other bug is, and that I actually already kind of mentioned in the previous episode, I don't have a good standard Shulker Box Unloader. And this is a prime example of what I don't like about all the Shulker Box designs that I've been using, because this one in maybe 10 Shulker Boxes ends up in the item stream. So the droppers that are feeding the crafting dropper, oh, can I access them from here? Yeah. So these droppers here suddenly end up containing a shulker box. The shulker box ends up in the crafting dropper. I just removed, this was a shulker box just a second ago. I removed it, and yeah, now the machine has seized up. I don't know what to do about it. I have no idea how to fix it. And another problem with this machine is, unfortunately, the lesson I learned from the Sea Lantern Crafter and then later the Observer Crafter is still not applied to this. So this machine does partial crafts, and that's not good. That wasn't too hard, I think. I just moved the clocks. Instead of the clock being here, I moved the clock to this side. It shouldn't interfere with anything. It's still sending the signal here, and if I just add one, and that's level 2, yeah, so this one is now off. And yeah, that's because we have too little gravel. Perfect, that's exactly what I wanted to see. Now, the question is, does this turn off? Yeah, this, oh no, this might turn off the clock too fast, and we'll still get partial crafts. Oh, that was unfortunate. I thought it would be simple. It's not. This machine is much more complicated than it should be. I have figured out a new way of doing a slightly more complex crafts with the sea lanterns and then the observers. So I probably should use the same principles to redesign this machine, because this will actually not help, I just realized. But that's a problem for a different day, because now we definitely need to do more concrete. I have tons of red concrete powder, I have light gray, oh, light gray I don't need. I have black, but now I need orange, yellow, blue, and gray, and I need tons of them. If I look into my notes, I need 9 stacks of black concrete, so... Yeah, okay, I might have overkilled here. There is a lot of black concrete. I might rearrange my colors later. I need 33 stacks of gray concrete, that's not a problem. I need 2 shulker boxes of blue and 4 shulker boxes each of red and orange, and a shulker box of yellow. More or less, slightly more yellow than that. And that is because we will be automatically printing the wall for the witch hut perimeter. I have spent the past, well, I wanted to say past few weeks, but it's actually past few months designing a machine that would do that. And the machine can print a pattern that is 16 blocks high and 10 blocks wide. It can do it in 6 colors. The problem is, I am not particularly artistic, so I am still hoping for the next few hours at least that someone on Discord will maybe make up a pattern that I can use. I have lost all hope, because people on Discord are a bit like me, artistically challenged but good at redstone. And yeah, so most likely the pattern I'm going to be printing, I'm not showing it yet because, like I said, I'm still hoping that maybe we can find something better. But the pattern I'm going for right now is just circles with multiple colors, like automatically generated through math rather than through artistic talent. Maybe the next wall, someone will invent something. Or maybe the next wall I will make the machine bigger so it can be, the pattern can be bigger than 10 by 16, because 10 by 16 is not much space to work on. Maybe I can even figure out a way of doing more than 6 colors. Should be theoretically possible to do up to 12, but not now. Let's finish the concrete and start building the machine that will be printing my wall. I just realized something funny. I was completely out of shulker boxes and I was thinking, oh, that's not what I was thinking. I was not thinking that I'm gonna go into that. And I was thinking like, oh no, I need to make more shulker boxes because I'm completely out of shulker boxes. I'm not out of shulker boxes. I have 1.5 double chests of shulker boxes in my witch perimeter. Just completely forgot that I used all the shulker boxes for sea lanterns. Although, to be honest, I am running out of shulker shells faster than I was expecting. I'm definitely down to just like 3 stacks now. So there needs to be some end raiding soon. Probably in a stream, because it's definitely a very good thing to do in a stream. It's relatively easy to keep up with chat and kill shulkers at the same time, and I don't lose interest in end raiding as fast as I do normally when I do it alone, because I do it alone, I just get bored in half an hour and go home. And when I did it on stream last time, we did it for 3 hours and it was great fun. So probably some stream relatively soon there will be another big end raid. But for now, I do have shulker boxes, empty ones, lots of them. And for some materials for today's project, we need to visit this place. I want to try something. I have never tried this before. I saw it in a video by Ilmango just, I think, yesterday, and I want to try it. And that is to build scaffoldings or temporary blocks or whatever you want to call it, temporary bridges out of pumpkins, because then you can punch those pumpkins out automatically with a flying machine without having to remove them manually. And I will be building a lot of bridges. I will explain once I build it, because it will be much easier to explain what is the crazy thing that I'm doing, and it hopefully should make sense. I'm thinking that I might actually need the nether portal here. I'm just flying. It's not too far from my base, but it's one of the few places that is still not connected with the nether tunnel network. So yeah, that's probably somewhere on a to-do list, at least a mental to-do list. I'm not gonna be writing it down, but I should remember to do this one day. And I just realized this might be the first time I'm using the blast chamber for its main purpose, which is to convert concrete into, well, to convert concrete powder into concrete. I've just been using it as a cobblestone generator most of the time, and probably should build, like, I will definitely build more efficient cobblestone generators in the redstone factory. But yeah, I'm not gonna be converting all the dozens of shulker boxes of concrete that you saw me make. It's just some white concrete because for once I decided to build my redstone contraptions out of white concrete rather than quartz. Because I've been realizing I've been wasting a lot of quartz recently, and yeah, I will have a lot of access to concrete right now, probably less access to quartz, so let's use concrete. And this part is also fun, flushing the machine with mycelium. And I really like this machine. 8 stacks in, 8 stacks out, no losses, no complication, it just works. Well, it just works if I don't forget and unload it, because then it blows up. But other than that, it just works. And oh yeah, no, it's connected to the chunk loader, so it shouldn't blow up anymore. I completely forgot I did that, but I did that. Alright, so the materials start going in here, and let's collect all the missing materials and get to building this magical machine that we're gonna be building today. Also, people ask me quite a lot actually why I use so many composters in my redstone, and the reason for this is, well, twofold. There are two different reasons. Reason number one is a very simple practical one. I am clumsy, and I drop things, and I don't want to drop things into my hoppers when I'm building things, so yeah, I want to cover them up with something. The best block to cover up hoppers are composters, in my opinion, because one, they just look okay, and they're easy to make, they're cheap to make, but also they prevent the hopper from picking up stuff from its surrounding, which means that if you have a composter over a hopper, the hopper will not be causing performance issues, well, unless some other things happen. But if the hopper isn't used or isn't full at that moment, it will not eat any of your CPU time, and that's good for server performance. If you're having a lot of lag issues in your world, just check for uncovered hoppers. If you look here, and I'm saying this because people keep asking me, especially quite a lot recently. If you look here, every single hopper, just by default, if I have any exposed hopper that doesn't need to be exposed, this one, for example, has to be exposed, and so does this one. But every other hopper that I have that is exposed, I cover up with composters. These ones, the composters here are practical, so they are actually used, and the ones up there are just to cover up the hoppers, so I don't drop things into them, and also so they don't cause lag. And I generally don't have much hopper lag in my base. And I think it's partially thanks to doing this, because I have 1,200 hoppers active around this area when I'm here, and they are taking less than 1 millisecond of CPU time per tick, which is quite nice for that many hoppers. And yeah, this is a crazy amount of materials, but most of it is just concrete powder that I'm gonna be using to print my wall. The actual materials for building are, well, I guess the pumpkins, and where did I put those? Oh, the white concrete here, and well, that's just, yeah. So it's not as much as it looks, but yeah, I filled my whole inventory with shulker boxes of stuff that we're just gonna be building today, and this is, oh, I need more rockets. And this is only a quarter of the wall that I'll be building today, because I don't think we will have time to do all of it, but I might be wrong, and then we will make all of it. And there it is, in all its, I was about to say glory, but it's not a super pretty machine. It looks eclectic. It looks like a lot of things are happening because a lot of things are happening. So it doesn't have a consistent look. There is like a mess here, some redstone wires which are wired very strangely because reasons, and the composters. And yes, there was a reason behind the madness of me just randomly explaining composters in the middle of everything and why I was making so many composters, because there is also a third use for composters. Composters are one of two blocks, I believe, I don't think there are any more, that can be pushed around by pistons and can be used to read power levels that are not just on and off. The composters in this machine are being read by these comparators here. We'll get to this in a minute as well. And they can send a power level of 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 8, because Mojang decided that 7 doesn't exist. I don't know why. I can show you how that works, actually. Let's get a few pumpkins. Oh, I already had a few pumpkins in my pocket. And pick this composters, and I'm gonna use a mini HUD to show me the level. So, level 1, 2, 3, 4... okay, let's do 5. Because it's putting a pumpkin into a composter is not always successful. 6. And now you would believe that the number that comes after 6 is 7, right? No, it turns into 8. It doesn't stop at 7. So, the same thing. Let me demonstrate. 2, 3, 4... Oh, come on. 4, 5, 6... Oh, this uses so many pumpkins. And another reason for me having all these pumpkins is that every one of these composters has to have an exact level. I'll explain why in a second, but let's see. 5, 6, right? It becomes 7. No, it turns into 8. So, yeah, that's one of the reasons why only 6 is possible. I don't know which level they should be, so I'm gonna leave them alone for now. So, what's going on with this madness here? And if you've been watching my live streams for the past few months, you probably have seen various versions of this machine, various evolutions, I should maybe say, because this machine has gone over many iterations until it has reached this point. Let's start from this end. There will be an AFK player here, and just holding right click, doing nothing else. As soon as a block gets placed here, it gets pushed by this piston. We will be placing blocks here automatically by just holding right click and being AFK. But how do we get the blocks? Well, there is a dropper above us. So in normal machines where you having an AFK player just place blocks, you have a dropper just spam blocks at the player at the exact same pace as the piston is shooting, and the piston is on some clock and you're done. We want different colors of concrete to drop. That's the whole idea behind this machine. I want to be able to print a pattern on a wall, so I need different colors of concrete to be dropping into the hand of the player. Anytime this dropper here below this one shoots an item into the hand of the player should place it immediately and it should get pushed out of the way by that piston. Up here we have a bunch of chests, and yes, I will expand them to have many more chests. I think one bit of wall will require, so 1/4 of the wall will require, I think, 4 chests. On this too, just 1. I don't remember, but we will definitely be using more of certain colors, so we'll have to have many more chests with that color to dispense the concrete. In the first prototype of this machine that I designed and built, it was actually on a stream, if I recall correctly. I had a completely different mechanism for giving the concrete to the AFK player, and it was completely ugly. Like, it was horrible. It could only do 4 colors. The mechanism was just like, it was just redstone lines everywhere, repeaters, unnecessary pistons. It was bad. Some people on my Discord took pity on me and designed this instead, which is a glorious, fantastic machine that can pick between 6 colors of concrete. My original only did 4. I believe it should be expandable up to 15 different colors or even 16 different colors of concrete if we do this right. But right now, of course, we're just doing 6 because of the composters. And the way this works is that when the composters move, I'll explain in a second, don't worry. This observer sees the composters moving, sends a signal here, and then whichever target block is up, sends a signal in here into this block. This activates this dropper here, makes it shoot the concrete powder into this dropper here. We'll get to that in a second. And also activates this rail, which gets caught by this observer. This observer takes the signal and sends it up there, which activates this rail. And because of the black magic of rail update order, the rail will get updated first here, making this observer fire, then here, making this observer fire, and going back. And that makes this line of droppers, which are pointing, the droppers are pointing in this direction, that direction. So this dropper will shoot things into this dropper, and since things are being updated in the order of that observer, this observer, etc., whatever item ends up in any of these droppers will end up in this dropper, which is above the AFK player and will drop on the AFK player. So this is an instant dropper line using the rail and observer update order mechanics. And this part here was designed by Bojan and Steuergold on my Discord server and the creative server. And like I said, they took pity on me and made this much better. And the way it decodes which signal level we have, because this is controlled by the signal level, which color we pick, is just a relatively standard red coder. Now, let's get to how we getting the power levels that are choosing which color we are using. It starts with the composters. The composters are on a piston feed tape. The piston feed tape is controlled by this clock. It has to be relatively slow for various reasons. When this clock ticks, and it ticks by moving the observer to here and powering this redstone line, and this redstone line goes up here to a line of pistons, which push the blocks in that direction. And at the same time, it goes to a row of pistons, exactly like that one that pushes the blocks at the bottom in this direction. And here we just have observer piston, which sees that the block is moving and pushes them out of the way down. And so we have a piston feed tape like this. Every composter has this very specifically chosen level. I will get to how I actually managed to fill them up without going insane. It was pretty fun. Not very complicated, but pretty fun. And they get moved around in front of these comparators, which read them through a block. And as you can see, there are 4 lines of composters, but there is only a solid block or non-glass block in front of one of the composters, which means that we are only reading one at a time. And to be able to have the composters right next to each other like this, just making the machine a bit more compact and actually also not slowing down the signal too much. There were issues with that with the first version. So what we're doing here is that we have full strength on this side of the comparator, and we then subtract the power level we are reading from the composter. So 6 is coming out of this right now. We have 15 minus, because this is on subtract mode, we get 15 minus 6. So this comparator line should be outputting 9 on the other end, and we can see that it does. Yes, 6, no, 9. Bad example, but it works. And this one, we subtract this again, and we get 6 out. This comparator is reading 6. 6 is coming out, and we choose the 6th channel. I'm not gonna be changing the levels here just to demonstrate that it works. Just trust me, it does work, because I'm definitely afraid of triggering some observer in the wrong moment and messing up the alignment of the whole machine. I do believe we should be relatively safe, but yeah, I will have to double, triple, and quadruple check at the end that everything is correctly aligned, because if the machine starts in the wrong state, it's all gonna get messed up. The last bit that is important, it is to choose which of the 4 channels that we are reading. This block needs to be moved around in front of these comparators to pick which channel we're reading. So we do a whole revolution of the piston feed tape wheel, and then we need to move this by 1 block. And then we do a whole revolution and move it by 1 block. Hello, it's me, I am piston feed tape. So of course we're solving it with a piston feed tape, because how else would we solve it? There is no other solution, it has to be a piston feed tape. And this piston feed tape here is slightly different. Oh, I put this block just to light things up, and it's hiding part of the machine. So this piston feed tape is getting triggered by a line here. You can see a lot of repeaters here, and the repeaters are very important because we need very correct timing on when we actually move this block, and this took me hours and hours of debugging, and I'm sad to say it was monkey with a typewriter type situation. I didn't exactly understand the timing, so I just added repeaters until it started working again. It gets triggered by this block getting powered, and this block is getting powered by this observer, which is on a piston feed tape, because of course it should be on a piston feed tape. There's no other way to power it. This is becoming a theme. This is the piston feed tape machine of piston feed tapes, where piston feed tapes are controlling how piston feed tapes are piston feed taping. Anyway, so this is also moving around here on the edge, and then eventually, and actually it does mess with that observer, and it does mess with that observer. Fortunately, that is not a problem, but it's a little iffy that it does that, but it's fine. When it does a full revolution, it powers this block and this block, 4 repeaters here into this end of the piston feed tape, and 4 repeaters here into this end of the piston feed tape, which just moves the blocks around here. And every 4th block is a solid block which we move in front of the comparators, which controls which of the 4 channels of composters that we are reading. Now, like I mentioned before, the AFK player in here will be placing the blocks here, which will be concrete powder, and this piston is gonna push them out, and it's gonna push them out here, here, until we reach this block. This block shouldn't be here. I just have it here just to measure that I got the coordinates right, because the coordinates are very critical to get right. And it's supposed to be at -6842 and 6945. I wasn't actually reading the coordinates from my screen, I was reading the coordinates from my notes, and I hope they matched, I really do. No, I have double checked this, triple checked this. This really has to fall down exactly here, because if we're 1 block in this direction, if you look at the various outcroppings from the wall, this one should be the furthest out, and yeah, 6841, so 6842 should be this block, right? 6842, yeah. So this is the first block that I wouldn't have to clean anything up, and it would just work. And I'm pretty sure I got it right everywhere. I flew around here many times trying to find the most extreme sticking out blocks, and I think we're good. And the same thing, of course, with this wall and all the walls around here. But you may ask, how will the concrete powder get all around the perimeter wall? Because it's going to be falling down here, and we might be able to push it up to 12 blocks in that direction, but that's it. Well, that's where these little magic machines come from. I've seen them from a video by Ilmango about an automatic wall maker, and this machine is slightly inspired by that one because, well, no idea is original, at least none of my ideas are original, but I added the color picking mechanism here, and my version is also much slower because I'm adding 1 more tick to this repeater, and that allows the concrete to fall consistently, because Ilmango's machine that had this kind of block pusher for the wall pushed the blocks too far, and it would be very hard to make a consistent pattern with the blocks falling that way. The machine is relatively slow, but it's supposed to be slow to get the blocks to fall consistently, so I don't go mad when trying to figure out the machine. These have to be placed every 10 blocks, and I need to do it all around the whole perimeter. For that, I'm gonna build me a pumpkin bridge, the first use of the pumpkins, like I promised. So I already tested this. When I'm pushing the concrete powder in this direction and there is a pumpkin here, the pumpkin will just break down into item form and we will be completely fine. So I can build this bridge around the entire perimeter out of pumpkins, just if I can bypass this block here. And pumpkin, pumpkin, come on, pumpkin, and I'm gonna do this all the way around until we come back here. And of course, I need to keep track of the coordinates where the corners are gonna be exactly, but that shouldn't be too hard because I have it written down. And 7160, yeah. So I know that there were issues here that I need to solve. This corner was not correct. I mean, it wasn't correctly blown up, so I do believe I will have to... Oopsie. I will have to remove a bunch of blocks in this area, but that shouldn't be a big of an issue. No other corner was messed up like this, or I don't know if it's messed up or it's just the explosions from the World Eater didn't really reach here, or how I was making the trenchers or something like that. Not exactly sure which machine did this corner, but this corner needs removing. Everything else should be fine. And now the exciting task of placing down all these pushing machines at the exact right distance from each other. They actually, with the redesign I've done to them, they can now be closer to each other, but they have to be at least 10 blocks from each other. And of course I'm gonna do 10 blocks because I don't want to use that many observers and repeaters and pistons and slime, etc. And I'm just doing the observers right now, and I'm placing the observers on each x coordinate that ends with 4. And now we have reached the corner. So on the corner we need to push the block because where the pumpkins are now is where the stream of concrete powder blocks is gonna be coming. And we need a machine to put them... Oh, no, that didn't work. There we go. Now we're looking in the right direction. Now this observer should be looking there. And, oh, this shouldn't really be... doesn't really matter. It can be a sticky piston, should probably be a normal piston, but... doesn't matter, this works too. And the only thing left now is to build the block pushers, which should be relatively simple. Block, block, repeater on 3 ticks, sticky piston, slime. Alright, all the block pushers are now built, the repeaters are correct, I checked them, I will double check them again. Are we ready to turn on the machine yet? No, not yet. There are still a couple, actually 3 things that still need to be done. Number 1 is we need to set the correct levels for all these composters, because like I said, the composters encode an image, and the image will be 10 blocks wide, 16 blocks high. To make the image not look stupid, every single composter has to have an exact level. For building pretty much all of my machines, I'm using Lightmatica. I'm rarely showing it in videos because I think the rendering just kind of looks ugly, but we can turn on the rendering now. So yeah, all the blocks get weird colors, especially my shulker boxes and stuff like that. But it is important for this to get it completely right because, for example, the schematic here is telling me that the composter should be level 5. It's at least level 0, so let's get it to level 5. Okay, so now that is fine. This should be 3, etc. This is how I'm gonna continue with the whole machine. Well, if you don't want to use a schematic mode, this could be possible. You just need to basically have a list of correct levels and start, I think, from this. Yeah, so it should be, this is the first composter you would need to fill in, then this one, then that one, maybe this is the first. No, this is the first, then that one, that one, that one, and like this in a whole loop. And then the loop continues from this one around to here, and this one around to here, etc. So this is the bottom rightmost pixel of the image that we want to draw. This is second from the bottom, third from the bottom, 4/5, blah, 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 up to 16. And then we have the second column of the blocks would start around here, and the third would start somewhere here and continue like this. I'm using Lightmatica to make sure that I get this right. And the way, by the way, how I actually calculated which composter has which level, that I did in Creative when I was designing this machine. I did it with a Scarpet script. So Scarpet is a programming language in the Carpet mod, and I used that to make sure that I got the pixels into the right composters at the right level in the right order. So, are we done now? The composters are filled in? Not yet. There is 2 more things. Well, 1 more thing, because the second thing I already did. I filled up these with concrete, or concrete powder. This one will just need 9 blocks, or 9 blocks, no, 9 stacks. This one will be 33 stacks, and yeah, most of it already got sucked into the droppers and hoppers below, so that's fine. This one will need 100 stacks. No, sorry, this is just 58 stacks, and this should definitely be enough as well. Here, we will need 100 stacks. Same here, the exact same amount of orange and red blocks are gonna get used. And this is 36 stacks. We have enough concrete, but if you were paying attention to what I was saying, we still have 1 more problem. And the problem is that the image is 16 blocks high and 10 blocks wide, but we are way more than 16 blocks above the floor here. And my solution to this problem is, because if you're thinking about how the blocks are going to be falling down, first we're going to get 1 column, then column number 2, then column number 3, then column number 4, then column number 5. If one of these wheels corresponded to 1 column, then this should be relatively simple to solve, because we would just have a pulse divider here and not move this block in front of this comparator until all 4 columns have fallen down. Unfortunately, this is not an even multiple of the number of blocks in a column. The maximum number of composters per ring you can have is, let's do the math, 12 plus 12 plus 11 plus 11. So 46. 46 is the maximum number of composters you have per ring because of push limits. So the way I'm intending to solve it is to, below this block here, and the math here is such a pain because it's so easy to make an off by 1 error. This will be the top level of the wall. So I was saying that this is where the concrete powder is going to get pushed, and that's true, but this is where it's getting pushed. Where it's stationary and stopping is 1 block below that. That would be blocks 69. So 16 blocks below that, the concrete powder should land, and that would be here. And we need a ring around the entire perimeter of pumpkins here. When this part of the wall, this is the quarter of the wall I was talking about all the time, when this gets printed, we're going to punch out these pumpkins, and we will have another ring of pumpkins 16 blocks below, and the same thing once again below, and the last ring is gonna land here. That's the idea. I have actually, to be honest, I have not tested this fully. It works in my head. If there are any big surprises when running this machine, they will happen here, when I punch out these pumpkins and figure out that I did something wrong. I have at least tested that there is a right amount of blocks between this block and that block. It will be 16. And I have double checked for my off by 1 errors. I believe we are fine. I'm gonna build this ring and then we can enable the machine. All right, the pumpkin rings are set up. Can we turn on the machine now? And the answer is probably yes. Let me just check if I managed to set up my second account to click correctly. Yep, try again. Yep, okay. Let's pick this up because those were the incorrect blocks. There is only one way to find out if this works. I have figured out that it's relatively simple to realign this machine, so shouldn't be that much of a panic. We shouldn't waste that much concrete powder. Actually, we won't wait. Oh, I'm babbling. Let's turn it on. All right, it is working. Free yellow. Yeah, I've done so much testing that I know that it's going to be free yellow. Then a lot of orange, a few more yellow, I think 2 or 3 more yellow, and then... Yep, it's working, it's working, it's working, it's working, and now we're going to punch this out. Yes, it's working exactly as it should, and let's just watch this bit work. The pattern is unfortunately not very exciting. Since I don't have that much artistic ability, I decided to just go for a very simple geometric pattern and maybe ask on Discord later if someone has any good ideas for a better pattern for the next perimeter, because this is of course not my last perimeter. It's just where I'm learning how to make all the mistakes so I don't make them when I'm gonna do my next perimeter, basically. So this is just basically circles or ellipses because they are taller than they are wide. It's looking good, and the circles are correctly aligned. All the blocks look correct. And yeah, this is the non-exciting pattern I have. Maybe if I can figure out how to make this machine bigger, we will have more exciting patterns as well, because, well, 10 by 16 isn't that much of a canvas to paint on. But that's all I have for now. Well, we now need to AFK this. Well, I will need to babysit this because, yeah, something will go wrong. It's about 315 blocks on each side of the perimeter. I think it's like 313 or something like that. It's not exactly the same on both sides, but let's say 315 times 4, that's 1260. It's 16 high, that would be 20,160 seconds. That's 336 minutes. So a little bit over 5.5 hours to finish all around here. Well, one of the layers, one of the 4 layers. Not bad. I'll be back in 5.5 hours to see how this progresses. I will actually be back here all the time and watching. And it's actually quite convenient that I can stand here and watch this happen for 5.5 hours. I'm babysitting the machine right now, and I noticed that we are getting close to the corner, and I want to watch this. I want to see that nothing goes wrong. I think I'm gonna try to stand here somewhere. Let's see, a few more seconds, and we're gonna see if this is working the way I want it to work. Oh, yes. Maybe. When this tower builds up, let's see if the blocks are getting pushed correctly. Oh, yes. I hope they do. It is looking a little bit weird. I don't think I like that. Oh no, there's some blocks falling down there. We might be in trouble, because the blocks falling down there are... Oh no. Yeah, they're gonna ruin the entire pattern. Oh, okay. I need to fill in the corners with some other blocks so that things... Oh, that's unfortunate. And realigning the machine is gonna be a massive pain. But I have to turn it off. Where is the power switch? There is the power switch. Turn it off. Okay, I will have to do some math and realigning of this and fill in the corner, because I'll be honest, I did not test the corner behavior. I was just assuming that it would work. And it does work, but it does work without the pattern. I never checked if it would work with a pattern. Oh boy. Yeah. This wasn't designed for doing a pattern. It's just me going crazy to do the pattern here. Okay, well, no huge loss. We'll figure it out. Shouldn't be too terrible to fix. I filled it in with pumpkins up to here, so the blocks should just glide over it, and that should be fine. I'm gonna do it on all the corners, of course. Now I need to remove the concrete that has already dropped. Should be as simple as this. Now to realign the machine. And I don't think I have to bother doing anything to the machine itself, because I'm pretty sure we have more than one image that is already in transit along here, so I just need to find the, I guess, bottom right of the image. Let's see how this looks. So I'm looking for this bottom right corner, which starts with 3 yellow, but it should have also 3 yellow from the previous one. Very long row of orange, then 3 yellow, then there should be next 3 yellow. And the next 3 yellow, that's what we should remove and leave a long row of orange and some yellow, but that is on the end, not at the beginning. I think I'll be able to figure it out. So I do believe it's that one. Let's find if there is another one, because there is such a long... No, there isn't any run of 6 yellows. This is the first one. So I think if I just remove everything starting from this block, because this is 1, 2, 3 yellows, 1, 2, 3 yellows, I think I figure it out. So everything from here needs to go. I think I cleaned everything up and we should be able to just restart the machine. The good thing is, well, hopefully good thing is that I worked quite hard on trying to make the machine restartable, so when I could just turn it off at pretty much any point and then turn it on again, and the sequence would continue correctly. I hope I got it right. Well, if I didn't, then there will be an error in the wall, and I believe that is fine. We will already have an error here, right? Because this kind of just ends abruptly. Let's see. This bit of the pattern ends without putting down the red concrete, and then it will start from this end or this edge, so there will be things missing. And I think these kind of errors caused by automatic machines are fine, they're okay. They basically show that there has been some debugging going on, and I like to have signs of that. Machines are not supposed to work on first attempt, because if they did, they were just too simple to begin with to be interesting. I'm okay with errors in my automatically printed wall. So, a progress update. The first layer is almost done, and it went without any problems. Do you actually believe that? No. I did a spontaneous live stream just because I was babysitting this anyway, and I wanted some company and talk to people, and it was quite fun. And the stream started with this part being completely broken. So in the previous clips, you've actually seen that I kind of fixed this. And another way the stream started was with me not having any rockets and also a broken elytra. And yeah, well, okay, let's start with not having any rockets. So anyway, what actually happened, what I didn't notice when I was fixing this, and which I actually saw in the clip when I was editing, what the actual problem was that when I built these corner pieces here, I didn't have any normal pistons, so I used sticky pistons. Now, it shouldn't really matter because they are only firing once. Well, kinda. That's not true. The problem was that this thing was too close to here, so it was wiggling the concrete powder block in front of this observer twice, which means that this piston was firing twice, but back then it was a sticky piston, so it was firing twice and pulling the concrete powder blocks back, and then everything got clogged up, everything got broken here. Then I tried to fix the machine, and I actually had to resynchronize it. I had to delete all of these blocks up here. And when resynchronizing the machine, I broke it even more, so that had to be fixed, and I fetched more concrete, and a lot of things happened. But basically, we are almost done. This bit of the wall should be finished actually within a minute. I am not gonna run the machine overnight, because I don't really have any good way of stopping it other than actually just turning it off manually. So I let it finish, I will remove the top layer of blocks because unfortunately they cannot be reused. I'll have to feed them back into the machine again. After that, we're gonna run this machine again tomorrow. And whoop, and that should be the last one, and we turn it off. Now we just need to punch out the pumpkins to make this segment of the wall fall down, and I will just to be sure that everything is at least semi-correct, I will do the first pumpkin, I'm just gonna do manually. It should be this one, and I want to see the top block to be on the same level as the pumpkin was. So, bam. Please be right, and it is right. Good. Ooh, that's a relief. Okay, so that should be simple now. On this end, I will need to add a few furnaces so I can stop the flying machine, because we will be punching out the pumpkins with a flying machine. And first, oh, I managed to land. Oh, that was good. We need 2 furnaces here because they're immovable, and if I send the flying machine this way, it should stop on them. And the flying machine should be basically as simple as this. Have I done any mistakes? I don't think I have. This piston will be punching out the pumpkins and everything should just work fine. Let's try it. Oh, it's looking good. I'm liking this. And yeah, like I said, the top layer of blocks has to be removed and fed back into the machine, and we will restart the machine and build another layer. And let's just fly and verify that everything looks right. Oh, I see there is definitely 1 block missing here, or wrong. That worries me, that's not good, but let's fix it. And look if it looks right. Yeah, everything looks right. No blocks are wrong as far as I can see. No blocks are missing. I realized that since we had to restart the machine and realign it, the pattern here doesn't really match up with this. And I was talking about how it's okay to have these kinds of errors. The problem is that the next layer I'm going to build is not going to align with the layer below if we continue correctly. So I think I'm just going to reset the machine so that the pattern doesn't even align here, so it doesn't align anywhere. And I'm going to try it to do for all the layers. That might be the stupidest decision I have ever made, but maybe that will work. We'll see. But we will have to finish for today, because I have already been editing a lot of this episode and it's gonna end up ridiculously long. And yeah, why not? I like this machine, I like talking about this machine and explaining this machine, so I'm happy with that. So that will be it for today. I will be streaming at 8 o'clock in the evening Central European Time, 7 o'clock in the evening UTC, the same day that this episode comes out. It will be on twitch.tv/Borkon_live. It is quite likely that we might be just babysitting this machine, because I might not have enough time to finish all the patterns. We'll see. Anyway, I hope to see you there, and if not, I'll see you in the next episode. Thanks a lot for watching, and have a good concreting. Bye!